Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Kat, and today I have a very special guest. As I often do, this guest is very near and dear to my heart, Mr. Da Lee. Da is a serial entrepreneur whose ventures currently include Kingsway Global Inc., which is a production and marketing company of sustainable home products through sourcing only FSC 100% certified material, which we will discuss in a little moment here. And secondly, Peer Communications, which is a marketing company that services international ultra luxury brands for the Chinese market, including digital media and print media, and Wellcee, the leading lifestyle and roommate seeking platform for young people in Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Hong Kong. And I was actually on the site this morning. There are so many more cities on that list.
Yeah.
Um, so Da has spent 20 years in China before returning to Edmonton in 2022, and he was the founder of the enterprise software company Diatech. From its beginning in 2004, the company grew to be the market leader in the China market, serving major clients include CITIC Group, China Mobile, and Minsheng Bank of China. Diatech clients spanned across 20 provinces in China, mainland, and Hong Kong. Internationally, its services have become integral parts of many clients along the Belt and Road Initiative, including Southeast Asia, South America, Africa, and the UK. Personally, Da has practiced traditional Chinese martial arts for over 25 years. He's also an avid long distance runner, having completed multiple marathons and ultra marathons. And Da is a sought after speaker and cultural interpreter on a variety of cross-cultural and multidisciplinary topics, including traditional Chinese martial arts, entrepreneurship in China, traditional Chinese architecture, imperial Chinese bureaucracy. Oh my goodness, I can't even say that word. Da's unique ability to weave his breadth of experiences and perspectives in engaging discussions. He has hosted a variety of individuals and groups ranging from the Asian Leadership Institute and MBA students to dignitaries like Prince Al Walid bin Talal bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and Paul Allen, not to be excluded, the notorious Paul Allen. Welcome, Da. We're so excited to have you. I feel like you are a wealth of information and knowledge for entrepreneurs, for those aspiring to be self-employed and entrepreneurs and maybe finding their passion. You are just so full of passion and so full of life. I'm so excited to begin our discussion. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Absolutely. So, where to begin? My goodness. So, tell us about your current venture is, well, actually, all three are your current ventures. And the one that struck, the one that I actually didn't know about is Wellsea. Let's begin there. Tell us about Wellsea.
Well, it's Wellcee is, as I think, as you talked about, is a platform for people to find roommates. That's just essentially the main feature of the platform. I'm actually an investor, and the founder is a really, really smart guy by the name of Alex Liu. And basically, just like most of these international large cities around the world, Beijing, Shanghai, the cities in China, the young people face this crunch of living in a very expensive city.
Mm,
Housing is always a problem. There's a shortage of housing. And I think Alex, the founder, found a really unique niche where they've created this lifestyle platform to allow young people in large cities to get to know each other. And also on this platform, through getting to know each other, finding their roommates. So it
amazing.
started out being finding roommates, but essentially it branched out into a very high touch and rich lifestyle platform. And I think they found a secret sauce where it's not, they are able to expand from city to city without losing the touch of being really high touch with the community that they are in. So it's been probably in the eighth year of operation now, and it's just it's growing really, really fast, and it's really, it's one of those small companies that really punches above its weight because yeah, in China we're dealing with a lot of very large platforms that are almost monopolies in the market, but we're able to really carve out a unique niche, and a lot of these large platforms are kind of on our heels, trying to either to knock us out or acquire or a partner. So it's been a really interesting experience to be a part of it.
Amazing, amazing. So to me, it's kind of like a dating app meets Airbnb.
Yeah, you could say that, and it's it really scratches a lot of the itches for young people, and because it's a dating app in a sense that you don't most times you don't know who you are going to be sharing a partner with.
Yeah,
The landlord doesn't really know who they're renting their apartment out to. A lot of times you get to know the person for 5 minutes when they view the apartment. Whereas on this platform, you're able to find out a little bit about them, what they're interested in. You can talk to them. There's a chatting app, and you can see the kind of events and lifestyle choices that they participate in before you decide to rent to them or before you
right.
decide to share your apartment with them. So yeah, it is kind of like a bit of an online dating app,
Dating.
but for landlords and tenants.
Right, right, right. And I dare say that it's probably even more important than a dating app because this is the person that you're actually going to be living with potentially. So you really want to have this like the service and the value that this site provides is
Yeah,
really
for
to vet
sure.
the person out and to make sure that, you're of like minds and or I mean, I guess it's limited to what that person wants to show
Yeah, yeah.
on
And
on
it's
the right.
interesting because one of the communities that has really appreciated the platform is the LGBT community because in China, as you know, it's not necessarily it's not illegal, but it's not legal, right? So a lot of LGBT community people they put a little rainbow on their profile, and the other landlords, if they are LGBT friendly, they put a rainbow on their profile too. And it seems to really the LGBT community really appreciate this because they don't have that
Mhm.
kind of luxury or that kind of feature in other platforms. So it's one example of how kind of a pre-vetting, a
Right.
pre-getting to know you allows people to have this opportunity to be who they are.
Absolutely. And I really do feel like that's an indication of what like the company values itself, being so inclusive in that way, especially in a country like China as well,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Amazing,
for sure.
amazing. So, I know one of your primary adventures and ventures
It
is
was an adventure.
yes, is your company that produces bamboo products, particularly for home. And we were the lucky recipient of a very beautiful storage organizer of, I guess, little things like bags and wraps. And so tell us how you got into that.
Well, about 5 years ago, my wife and
Mm.
I, I was involved in the IT industry in China for 20 years.
Mhm.
So we wanted to do something a little bit more hands-on, right? A little bit more brick and mortar. You can see a physical product in your hand, and both of us love to be part of a group and community and hosting and having people in our homes. And like my wife is a big neat freak. Her house has to be completely organized and neat. So it was just a very kind of natural way for us to develop some products around the home. And one of the products we did is the bamboo cheese board, where you do a charcuterie board spread and you put cheese and crackers and it's on top of this beautiful bamboo. And also the one that you got, which is the Ziploc organizer, and it organizes your drawers,
I
right?
love
So,
it. We
so
love it.
all of these things,
Absolutely.
my wife is like the primary user, and it transforms your kitchen, right? And so, so we that's how we got into these products. And as you said, one of the main features of our products is that we use FSC certified bamboo wood. And as you might know, a lot of people see FSC, the logo with a tree on it. on paper products because that's, they are made of wood. But another huge section of FSC is actually the wood products themselves. So when we source only FSC bamboo wood, which means that the bamboo is grown in farms that are FSC certified. It means that it's farmed, it's grown in a sustainable way with respect for the local community, with local cultural practices, and it's produced, transported in an FSC certified way. It's produced in an FSC factory, and it's packaged in an FSC certified way. So all of that makes it's more expensive, but it makes a product itself and the bamboo that we use, it's a very kind of environmentally and sustainable process throughout the entire production.
Right. So it's the whole entire, so it's not only, so it's like fair trade, but I don't think that fair trade is necessarily the right term for the
so FSC is Forestry Stewardship Council, which is the organization that does the certification. So so the farm, the bamboo farm is certified, the production is certified, and we as the brand owner and the eventual seller of the product, we are certified. So the entire chain of custody is certified. Yeah.
Right. And why did you choose to, now I get that this is one way to differentiate yourselves from other, because bamboo products are not, they're quite numerous, they're quite voluminous in the market. And I appreciate that this is one way to differentiate yourself. But why did you choose, why was it important to choose being FSC certified as opposed to differentiating perhaps another way in order not to commoditize your product, right?
It's a good question. Yeah. And to be honest, sustainability is something that we value and that we wanted to, and you don't always get an opportunity to really differentiate yourself in a sustainable way. And as we were researching into the bamboo product itself, although naturally it is sustainable, it's a grass, so it grows every year. When you cut it, and next year it grows. So the bamboo itself is sustainable. But as we were researching into the bamboo industry, we discovered really the FSC certification. So it was an easy way for us to, number one, do something that's in alignment with our values, and at the same time there was that certification which made it easier on us, right? That we didn't have to. We paid more money for the material, but we didn't have to do a lot of the legwork in terms of supply chain management ourselves. We're not really equipped or trained to really go up and down the supply chain to make sure that it's done in a proper way.
No, of course not.
So it was it's something we discovered along the way, and it was kind of an easy and convenient way for us to make sure that the supply chain is done properly.
I see. And so so I understand that it's one of your wife's, a product that is near and dear to your wife's heart. But what made you go into, so what sort of reason, how did you know that bamboo products was going to be a good product when you were starting your company?
Yeah, so when we started the brand, and then we're looking at the different products, and there are a lot of tools. I think one thing is you need to do is probably twofold. One thing is the heart, right? And what are you interested in the product? Does this product call out to you? Can you see yourself using it? Does it excite you? I think that's definitely one part of it. And it checked off the list for us, especially with my wife. So I think that's one element of whatever you do, product wise, service wise. It has to make sense to you on a intuitive, emotional basis. And on the other side is the head, right? The logical part. So there are all kinds of tools you can use like that you can collect data on how bamboo products sell, how specific bamboo products sell, revenues and competition, and especially in the channels that we do, we sell through e-commerce. So platforms like Amazon, and you have a lot of tools that give you hard numbers, and these metrics really should drive a lot of your decision making. And I mean, they're not foolproof,
Mm,
but they are definitely important inputs into your eventual decision making. So it's kind of both, right?
mm,
Yeah, it's got to feel right to you, and then at the same time, you have to have some data backing it up. Because I mean, if you want to say I'm gonna do vitamins, for example, or I'm gonna do iPhone cases, well, I mean, it might speak to you, but
mm.
you
There's
better
a
make
lot of
sure yeah, you better make sure that you have a lot of a huge war chest if you
yeah.
want to get into those areas, right? So it's a bit of both.
Right, 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 right. So, did you start this? So this is would you say that this is primarily an Amazon business, or do you sell on other e-commerce platforms?
We do sell a lot of e-commerce, like Amazon, like Walmart, and
Mm.
we're looking at TikTok. But I mean,
So you
for
can sell
us,
stuff on
for the last,
TikTok?
we not yet. So we're
Oh,
we're
okay.
kind of laying the groundwork for it right now. Yeah.
I didn't even know that
And
one could sell anything on TikTok.
oh yeah. It's a very, it's not up and coming. I mean, there are some uncertainties because of the U.S. Law to essentially ban it. But so there are some uncertainties with it, but
Mm.
there is already a very, I think, robust, growing ecosystem
Really
for
interesting.
selling on TikTok. Yeah, and it's a different play. It's a different setup than what you would do on Amazon or on Walmart or any of those kind of traditional platforms. It's much more of a kind of influencer driven,
Mm,
content driven versus product driven and platform
right,
driven. So it's a different play, but a lot of these things is when you get in early, you reap some of the early bird dividend, right? So, and like I said, right now there's some uncertainty around it, but I think it's not going away, right? So
right. I mean, uncertainty exists everywhere. Like even with Amazon, there's uncertainty, even though
sure,
it's an established e-commerce platform, but yeah, there's a lot of people on there. So
yeah,
uncertainty is sort of
yeah,
always part of the deal, I would feel.
yeah, yeah.
hmm okay, so sorry, I interrupted what you said. So TikTok versus Amazon.
Yeah, so we're primarily Amazon, right? That's a
Right.
big
Mm,
chunk of our revenue is off Amazon. It is the most established, the biggest, and especially in the United States, where that's what we sell the most in. Amazon is definitely the kings, and I think it will be the king for the foreseeable future. But we're also you got to also be looking at other channels and growing and maybe more lucrative and more better platforms that have potential.
right. So this is a far cry from where you originally were, which was
Yeah,
IT, like
yeah,
Diatech, that like
yeah,
enterprise level B2B. Can you tell us
sure.
about Diatech actually?
Yeah. So I think we started in 2004 in China. I think at the time we like the first meeting we had was maybe 4 people, and we did enterprise document management software. So this is in 2004, before cloud, before AI, and we really bootstrapped it. So it's you definitely can't do what we did now because cost structure is so different. But we bootstrapped it and we grew it from just a company with 4 people and no product to essentially at the end when we exited, we were in all the major provinces. We had major banks, construction companies, government institutions using our system all over China, and we had installations like in Africa, in Angola, and Zimbabwe, and Venezuela,
My
Peru, and
goodness.
Cuba. So we kind of bootstrapped it from the beginning to a point where we really, I think, were one of the major players in the sector.
Amazing. That is now you and I went to school together, so I know that you went
Yeah.
to, university in Canada as a like North America in Canada in particular. And so how did you have to okay, so when you went back to China, were you, now you weren't a Chinese citizen because you can't hold dual citizenship. You're
Right,
either
right. I was
Canadian or you're Chinese.
Canadian citizen. Yeah.
Right. So how did you get into starting a business in China? Did you have to
Mm,
partner up with somebody or
mm.
how'd you break into that?
Well, yeah. So when I first went back to China, it was really random. I didn't think that I'd be there for 20 years, and but I arrived in China in 2002, and at that time it was really everything was growing so fast and a lot of opportunities. Really, it was a market that was just so thirsty for talent. And, I was basically a fresh grad. I had worked a few years in North America and in South America. But when I got there, I spoke Chinese, but not good enough to be having meetings in Chinese. But
Really?
it doesn't matter. It didn't matter, right? Because I would meet one person and they would offer me a contract, and then meet another person and then offer me something else. And you kind of just rolled. And I thought I was going to be there for 6 months, but it turned out to be 2.5 years. And while I was working for this company, which was this construction and real estate and infrastructure development investment company, I got to use some of the systems that we used, that we worked with partners in the West, right? Kind of document management systems and drawing management. And I knew that there was nothing that people used on the Chinese side because I was kind of straddling between the two sides. So, really that was, yeah, we started because I didn't really know anything, right? So you don't know if you're not, you don't fear what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so I was 27 years old, and we just started a business, and we thought, okay, we'll just try to meet the needs of these companies. But I think, had I known what I know now, I might not start the company because we definitely didn't have all the prerequisite skills or the funding or the knowledge or the relationships to do it. But you're young, you don't know what you don't know, and then you just do it, and you figure it out as you go along, right?
100%. I feel like that's always entrepreneurship. You're never going to know all of the answers. You always just need to know the next step. I mean, you have to have a larger vision of where you want to get to, but often it's like you just kind of figure it out as you go.
Yeah, and I think people ask me about, oh, should you start your business when you're young or start your business when you're older, right? Or more established. And it's a tough thing to say definitively,
Mm.
but definitely if you started earlier on in your career, you have less fear, which means that you're not going to be boggled down with trying to analyze, right, over and
Yeah.
analysis paralysis, and you're not going to be fearful of what might be. But the disadvantage is definitely you lack the experience, and there's so much to be said for experience. You lack the relationship. So, and you do, I mean, looking back, we made so many mistakes that, had I had 5 more years of experience or 10 more years, had I worked in an IT company for, maybe a few years, I would not have made those mistakes. But having said that, I might not have done, I would have lacked the enthusiasm, right?
Mm.
Lacked the fearlessness. And, I tell people that it's amazing how nice it is to be on a corporate expense account, right? Uh,
Yes.
so when I think, and I've never had a nice corporate expense account, but I've had a lot of friends who are on them, who were on them. It's hard to get off it, right? You have to pay your own mobile bills, right? You have
Yeah.
to pay when you go on a business trip. It's not going to be the five-star hotel, right? You got to just
No,
find a
exactly.
find an Airbnb or something because it's your own money, right?
That's right.
So if you wait, you might have you might make less mistakes, but you might not get off that corporate gravy train, right?
Mm,
And so
that's right.
um, I think that's something that people have to think about if you're thinking, oh, should I start a business? When should I start a business? And I think also there's a lot to be said for your young enthusiasm. And there's this kind of absurd self-confidence that you can figure it out, right? It's like,
Absurd.
where are you basing your confidence on, right? You have nothing, but you do that, right? When you're 25 years old.
The invincibility of the
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah, yeah. So
So for Diatech, how did you, so I get that, so you mentioned there were your four people. I would surmise that those three other individuals, now one of whom was your sister,
yep.
right? And for those of you who are listening, Daw's sister is a very close friend of mine. She is probably like Daw. I mean, it runs in the family. One of the most successful entrepreneurs that I've ever known in my life. She and I share a special relationship where we actually meet each other randomly in various different places of the world.
I've heard those stories.
Yes, yes. And so your sister was one of the folks, and the two other individuals definitely were in China, I would surmise. And so, how did you guys get business in, like, how did you get your first clients? Like, did you just go and
So
cold call people,
our
or?
first client was
Mhm.
my the company I worked for 2.5 years.
Oh,
Right.
okay, okay,
So
okay.
so the I guess the big boss there kind of saw something in me or saw something in us. And so, it was a big company and they gave us business. And then we just, you know, so that gave us some foundation, some
Mm,
kind of social proof, right?
right.
So we could go around telling people that, hey, this big company from Hong Kong with
Yeah.
operations all over
Give you street
using us,
cred.
and yeah, some street cred. And then it was just we had one of our people was a sales guy, so he had some clients that he would call, and we just a lot of it was cold calling. We just cold called. This is back in the 2004, before social media, before any of those things, right? Cold calling,
Sure.
and then you develop relationships based on some successful companies, and then it kind of just starts to snowball. And like I said, back then, we were not venture funded, so we had to bootstrap it. We had to grow it organically. So you get clients, you make some money, you put it into R&D, you hire a couple more people, and so we grew it really organically for a long time.